Let's get straight into this initiative that you are going to be having as the City of Cape Town. How big of a problem is extortion? Let's start off there in the City of Cape Town.
Okay. Apologies for the connectivity issues. I think that for us, the crisis with extortion, it mirrors what's happening in the rest of the country. We are seeing certain aspects of extortion syndicates become very bold, whether it be in transport, in construction, even with informal traders and small house shops. There are very few sectors of the industry that's not spared. Government also is targeted with a fair amount of it, so that in certain high-risk areas now, or so-called red zones, it is very difficult to send in construction or maintenance crews from the city's electricity or roads department or otherwise, or a contractor working for the city without some kind of policing escort. So in the last 9 months, we've gone from about just over 750 escorts in the previous 9 months to, in the equivalent period this year, over 1,300 escorts. And that increase is good news in that we're able to do those escorts to ensure that service delivery happens, but it's really bad news in the fact that we need to do so in the first place, and the fact that it just about doubles your services. So I was in Kailicha a month or so ago with some of these teams. You have 6 people working on a detail for a contractor to clean out portable toilets, and next to them are 6 law enforcement officers driving in front and behind them to make sure that they are safe, as the contractors will not work otherwise. And that effectively is just doubling your cost, and that makes for quite an unsustainable service delivery scenario, and hence the constant pressure by us on the South African police to create a closer working relationship with the city and other role players around an extortion task team that gets into these syndicates and starts getting some convictions.
And now that you've almost doubled the escorts as well to try and arrest this problem, is the problem being arrested, or do you see that it's just also increasing with the number of escorts that are increasing, with the number of efforts that you're trying to put in as well to curb it? Does it then help?
It is helping. I suspect, though, we are, as we saw in this last week, the attacks on Eskom staff, when they cannot get to our contractors, to the city's contractors or to our depot staff, the attacks move to other services, to other delivery vehicles, etc. And your problem is that constantly securitizing everything doesn't solve the problem. It simply means that you are safeguarding some people from attack for a while, but your syndicates are still there without meaningful convictions and improved crime intelligence and investigations. This is not going to happen. SAPs have been severely depleted of these investigative and crime intelligence resources over a significant period of time, so that the outputs there now are too low to bring relief to these communities. Part of the reason we are constantly asking for the devolution of these powers to local and provincial governments so that we can step in. But in the meantime, SAPS needs to work with us. If they cannot solve it on their own, we need to work to get those convictions together so that we can take the syndicates out of the equation. We are doing a lot of this unit. The FPOs was created now a year ago. This is their 1-year anniversary. And we created this unit in order to be able to visit our facilities, constantly inspect and patrol our facilities to protect it against vandalism. Sadly, 90% of their work now goes to policing escorts. But even so, we've also made progress on the facility protection side. There's a 30% step up in the number of inspections we're doing, and a commensurate 20% reduction in the number of panic alarms and vandalism incidents at those facilities. So it's been a useful investment and will probably largely pay for itself, and we will probably increase it in capacity as well.
And speaking of investments as well, this can't be good for business owners, but you're saying that no sector has been spared. Even informal traders are subject to these extortion tactics as well. If you could just give us some examples for those who aren't aware of how it takes place.
Well, I think there's some high-profile criminal cases at the moment in the minibus taxi industry around specific individuals that are extorting others, demanding protection fees. There are some key business components of the minibus taxi industry that have become deeply problematic around membership fees and otherwise that all amount to various forms of extortion. And there are high-profile criminal cases linked to murders and assassinations in relation to this. We have the horrific and utterly tragic incident that arose in Khayelitsha over the last week, with 4 people being shot at a barber shop, some of them children, from what appears to be an attempt at extorting money from the barber. It's just incredibly tragic. Small children who have absolutely nothing to do with any of this, that they should be caught in the crossfire from being in the wrong place at the wrong time. We asked SAPS to allow us to assist them in this investigation, and one of our Safety and Security Investigations Unit staff members accompanied SAPS to that incident in an attempt to help with the investigation. We want to do more. We want to bring these syndicates to a halt so that we can, A, those communities can be safe, and B, we can render services to them properly. But even within the construction scene and otherwise, we see our roads projects delayed from attempts at extortion. We saw one of our staff members, Wendy Kloppert, murdered as a consequence of it.
It really is a serious problem indeed, and good to know that something is being done about it and there is some sort of a reduction. JP Smith, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon on Daytime Update.